Welcome back to Advertising is Dead. I'm trying to figure out how to introduce you. I'm just going to call you Mythpat because I feel is the name with which everybody knows you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Actually, I'm excited for this show because ये show में बहुत we can talk Hindi English जो ना चलेगा.
Anything. Yeah.
तो ये show में बहुत पहले से देखता था. It's a, I don't know, like the maybe the thumbnail जो profile वो pic है इस show का that attracted me. मस्त था तो मैंने इस पे click करके I've heard like the Tanmay episode and
nice.
Pranav and I've heard few more. I like listening to such podcasts which are like related to my field, advertising and business podcast. मुझे पसंद आता है सब पढ़ना सुनना.
No, that's interesting because you know every time I have spoken to anyone about the gaming space, your name comes up because I'm like, okay, what's happening in the space? There's like, and somewhere over there, Mythpat comes up, and I've always been intrigued to know how you started off gaming. How did this whole thing start for you? Were you just like casual gaming and became a creator? But I want you to tell me, how did this whole thing start?
So I am a gaming creator, but I'm also not a gaming creator.
True.
So I have started, like I should do mimicry in my college days and all. So I had this thing कि मेरे को mimicry में कुछ तो करने का है. Dubbing हो गया, mimicry हो गया. But that, I don't know, like that was a thing which ऐसा था कि वो dream maybe होता नहीं होता ऐसे because I had to go for MS also, masters also. तो मैंने सोचा कि of course entertainment industry is too difficult to get into. मैं तो कुछ नहीं, वो नहीं होता कॉन्फिडेंस. वी सी ऑल दीज बिग पीपल, ऐसा लगता है कि नहीं वी जस्ट कांट डू इट, ऐसे लगता था. एंड बट डेफिनेटली एक चीज मन में था हमेशा से कि मेरे को चाहिए ये चीज. आई नेवर लाइक रियली वर्क टूवर्ड्स इट. Like I did not go to chase it कि नहीं चाहिए. Like right now how I chase 10 million subscribers and all these things, like I have been working really hard. तभी like I knew अंदर से I knew this कि मेरे को ये चाहिए था. I was working hard for my masters. I was preparing for the GRE exam and all that. इसकी तरफ मैं कुछ नहीं कर रहा था. एक I think वो तभी वो पावर आ जाती है यूनिवर्स की. Something told me कि चलो फोन निकालते हैं, Mythpat करके एक चैनल खोलते हैं. Mythpat was a name given to me by my friend, one of my friends. तो मैंने ऐसे ही वो चैनल खोल दिया and एक वीडियो शूट करके डाल दिया उस पे. Okay, so that happened and after that वो मिमिक्री का पहला वाला वीडियो था. उसके बाद उस पे जो भी व्यूज आए, मेरे दोस्तों को मैंने व्हाट्सएप पे वगैरह भेजा था वो चीज, उस पे व्यूज आए 200-300, 60 सब्सक्राइबर्स इन वन डे एंड ऑल दैट. एंड देन आई वाज थिंकिंग दैट व्हाट्स द नेक्स्ट थिंग आई कैन डू. उस हिसाब से दिमाग चलने लगा फॉर सम रीजन. अगेन ऐसा कोई प्लान नहीं था यूट्यूब करने का. आई डिड आई टुक अ गेम GTA 5, उसमें फिर मैंने मिमिक्री ट्राई किया. Because for me, gaming was a way, abhi bhi, gaming is a way to entertain audience. Gaming is not my main content, I feel. I feel I've always tried to put myself more than game. तो इसलिए मेरा जो कैमरा का ये होता है size even in the game थोड़ा सा बड़ा होता है because I want people to love me and not the game. So मैं I started off with doing mimicry in games and stuff like that, and that really worked out well for me. And then I got into this gaming creator ka zone. And I always wanted to actually come out of that cluster of being a gaming creator, and I worked hard towards that. So I've tried doing different things, and then stuff like Netflix happened and all that, which actually gave me a chance to explore my mimicry side a lot. Correct. So वैसी सब चीजें होती गई. And but I do gaming because gaming is easy. वरना I can't give my dedication पूरा कि चलो मैं कुछ भी random content बनाता हूँ because that is difficult to do. Gaming is comparatively easy according to me.
And this is an interesting point because I spoke to Pranav some time back. And I remember Pranav was telling me that, you know, people think that if you're a gaming creator, it means you play games. But in many ways, you are someone who's kind of showed that, you know, you build entertainment on top of something. Anybody who's an entertainer finds one way to put their entertainment out. Right? It might be, for some people, it'll be stand up. For someone else, it'll be something else. For you, you found that, one second, giving me, I don't have to shoot stuff. There's already characters. There's already a space. Let me find a way to add my own angle to it. सब कुछ बना हुआ है. Correct. I can add my own elements to it and बन गया मेरा. Like literally, as long as you can fill in all the stuff there. And as you kept doing that, at which point did you realize, one second, this is working and more people are coming on? When did that kind of happen? What was that point for you?
I think these are random videos जो मैं बीच बीच में बनाता था. So like एक दिन मैंने ऐसी एक वीडियो बनाया था, मुझे याद है, ऑगी एंड द कॉकरोचेस में, यू नो ऑगी एंड द कॉकरोचेस, वेरी वेरी फेमस कार्टून, जो जिसका इंडियन डब में जैसे शाहरुख खान का वॉइस एंड ऑल दैट, हे भैया तुम किधर जा रहे हो भैया, ऐसे सब चीजें उसपे. सो आई थॉट कि ये अगर पबजी में हमने किया तो क्या होगा. सो आई मेड दैट वीडियो. सच छोटा छोटा वीडियोस ना स्टार्टेड गेटिंग थोड़ा थोड़ा वायरल ऐसे ऐसे करके देयर केम अ पॉइंट वेयर आई वाज गेटिंग सब्सक्राइब. देन आई रियलाइज ओके चलो यूट्यूब पे ग्रोथ हो रही है. सो इनिशियली माई प्लान वॉज कि यूट्यूब पे 100 के सब्सक्राइबर्स करने का एंड मास्टर्स को जाने का. दिस वॉज जेन्युइनली माई प्लान. ऐसे नहीं था कि मैं ऐसे ही बोलने के लिए बोल रहा हूँ कि कुछ डिसाइडेड नहीं, एक्चुअली ऐसे था.
लेट्स गेट दिस टारगेट डन, गो इनटू मास्टर्स.
हाँ ये था मेरा 2 साल के बाद. बट बिफोर आई ग्रेजुएटेड ऑल्सो आई हैड 100 के सब्सक्राइबर्स इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग. I started in the last year of my college, and before I graduated, I had 100k subscribers. So the whole game only changed. The whole plan changed at that point. And so honestly, recently I was thinking of this. So what I told my parents कि 2 साल में मुझे 100 के subscribers करने हैं. This is the time I took from my parents. Okay. Recently I thought of that कि अभी मेरे को 2 साल complete हुए and I'm at 10 million subscribers right now. After college 2 साल हो गया and I'm at 10 million. I was thinking about 100k at that time. So
did you go to your parents and say कि see I've over delivered on my promise?
No, I didn't, because my parents were never like forcing me for anything. They gave me the chance. I feel वो luxury जो होती है वो बहुत कम लोगों को मिलती है. I'm happy to have that luxury. I got that. I didn't have pressure from my parents का side for this thing. Even I think they also knew कि बचपन से मेरे अंदर वो कीड़ा था कि वो, तो these things really lined up well, क्योंकि था मेरे अंदर बचपन से वो कीड़ा. पहले वो कीड़ा था about editing. I used to edit videos in a way कि मैं सुपरमैन जैसे उड़ सकता हूँ, स्पाइडरमैन जैसे हाथ से जाली निकाल सकता हूँ. वो सब चीजें हुई. Then came a phase in my life of mimicry. And I was mad into mimicry. Mad in the sense कि मैं 12th स्टैंडर्ड क्लासेस को हम सब दोस्त मिलके चलते थे. हमारा कॉलेज होता था, कॉलेज के बाजू में क्लासेस बाजू में मतलब 10 मिनट 15 मिनट के वॉक पे क्लासेस होता था. सो वी ऑल फ्रेंड्स यूज्ड टू ऑफ कोर्स गो वॉकिंग टिल देयर. तो मैं दोस्तों को अनॉय करता था चलते वक्त कि सुन शाहरुख. एंड दिस इज नॉट वन डे, दिस इज लिटरली एवरी डे. आई एम नॉट एग्जैजरेटिंग. और मैं एक दोस्त तो पक गया था मेरे इससे शाहरुख खान की आवाज से. बट आई थिंक दोस थिंग्स हेल्प्ड राइट नाउ, आर हेल्पिंग राइट नाउ. एकदम परफेक्ट हो गया सब कुछ.
प्रैक्टिस हो गई इतने साल, डेली प्रैक्टिस
वही तो परफेक्ट. सो दीज तो कभी रियलाइज नहीं किया ना ये सब चीजें. मैं रोज के रोज ऐसे चलते वक्त प्रैक्टिस कर रहा था 11th स्टैंडर्ड में वगैरह, 10th स्टैंडर्ड नहीं 11th स्टैंडर्ड में. देन केम अ पॉइंट इन आई थिंक 12th स्टैंडर्ड जब मैंने एक पहला टैलेंट शो टाइप एक चीज था जहाँ पे मैं गया था. वेरी रैंडमली ट्रैक पैंट पहन के गया था. मुझे मालूम ही नहीं था टैलेंट शो होने वाला है. आई जस्ट वेंट फॉर इट एंड दैट्स व्हेन आई गॉट माय फर्स्ट अपलॉज फ्रॉम द ऑडियंस. And that is the point that changed me from Mithilesh to Mythpat. That video is still there on YouTube. 6 years ago, that video was uploaded. And that first applause was required to change me from Mithilesh to Mythpat.
Yeah.
Confidence.
Speaking of applause, at some point, one of the most important parts about being an online creator is the audience, right? It's the community that kind of comes. People who follow you, who consume your content, who comment, who are with you. I've seen, and I was saying this before we started recording, कि I was once in a live event and your session was going to come after mine, or all your fans kind of came on and they were like, where's Mythpat? When is Mythpat coming out? So that is the only thing that happened in the entire chat box for 20 minutes. And I kept typing back saying, aa raha, meri baat hi aa raha. Right? How has that been for you? Right? Because at some point you build an entire set of people who enjoy your content, who are fully involved in it. And at some point, ये भी होता है ना कि there's someone who, the people who want more from you, but also give you great feedback, also kind of learn from. So how has that part been for you, and what have you kind of done to even grow and kind of keep that together?
With the whole audience part, like I'm very happy. I feel I have one of the best audience base, because every single day I get so many fan edits and all that, and this is not usual. Okay, I'm not saying I'm the only one. I feel in this whole gaming space में जो भी लोग हैं या फिर जो भी नए creators है, I'm not talking about the Gen Z. I'm talking about these creators who make roasting content also, and everyone. ऐसे है मेरे साथ बाकी लोग हैं, ट्रिगर्ड इंसान हो गया, कैरी मिनाटी हो गया, ये सब जो भी लोग हैं, हमें जो ऑडियंस बेस है ना वो बहुत प्यार करती है. And I'm every single day imagine getting like 10 fan edits, getting 5 fan arts every single day. So it's very very like बहुत मजा आता है सब देखने में and all that. So that what you mentioned right now, ki people were excited, like I was gonna come. I know this feeling, क्योंकि बहुत बार they have made me feel like this, and it feels really good to have them.
And at some point, how is the interactions also been like? How have you realized that some things that if you do that they're more engaged, or is this just naturally people are just say, okay, we love your content, so we're going to be following you, or are there things that you've actually done to make sure the community is also a lot more together?
So I've tried, like since the start, I've tried one thing, that I want to build a connect with my audience. Okay, so through my videos, that is where the point comes. I have not tried pushing the game. I've tried pushing myself. So the audience has to look at me as their friend only. तभी जाके वो connection build होगा. वो एक चीज हुआ. And one thing now that helps more is the podcast. In my podcast, I get to like, because my content is like 10-minute crisp content. उसमें क्या ही कितना ही connection बने, उसमें भी I try. Okay, like friends जैसे and all that. But this podcast format, that's why this 1 hour podcast, 30-minute podcast, उसमें क्या होता है, audience actually gets to know you properly.
Correct.
तभी जाके वो connection build होता है.
That's an interesting point, right? And more, someone was asking me the other day, sir, okay, what is the whole deal with anybody who's a YouTuber or a creator starting podcasts? And I said, exactly, this is that you suddenly have this longer way to show who you are, also kind of have your community really understand you better rather than all your content, because in many ways, point valid, because you're putting out content which is packaged a certain way. Here it's you talking, it's you in many ways doing exactly what we're doing right now. You're just talking like how you would normally talk. And I think that really, it's an interesting way for creators who didn't start off as podcasters to really build that community there and put in.
Yeah, I want to actually ask you one question. Like, why is your podcast ka name Advertising is Dead?
So this podcast when it started off, it's been 3 years now. So I started an agency in 2009 called The Glitch, right? And
I know Glitch,
our interesting part was the fact that we must have worked together doing the Netflix piece and all that stuff, right? So when we started off, we didn't come from advertising, so we didn't know how things were structured, none of those things. We started off because we thought this would be something interesting to do. And so when this podcast started, I said, okay, I can't talk about what's happening in the marketing space, etc., because I don't have legacy understanding. I only understand what's happening right now, what's changing. So let's talk about everything that is changing in business, advertising, marketing, content. And then the name, when we were brainstorming, came up. I was reading a book called The End of Advertising. I said, okay, what if we call it Advertising is Dead? But now obviously it's evolved to talking about more and more things, because it's not everything is advertising and brands, right? At some point they're all connected. So talk about business, also talk to creators, talk about creator economy, talk about everything. So that's why it's called Advertising is Dead.
I think that's the reason I like listening to this podcast, because I want to listen like वो creator backend पे जो होता है ना, business side जो भी चीजें, मुझे वो सुनना पसंद है for some reason. I've heard all Pranav का podcast, not just because he's a manager. मेरे को पसंद है सब चीजें के बारे में सुनना. I've heard other managers का भी podcast जो YouTube में backend पे चालू रहते हैं ना, not the creative side, the business side. I like listening to such things.
So because you like listening to that part, that's what I want to ask you. At some point, all creators start off creating content, and then at a certain level, it also becomes a way for you to monetize, for you to make money, and also kind of build every creator for me is a business, is an entrepreneur. End of the day, you're building media, and through media, you're building a business for yourself. How have you seen that part of it for you? What have you seen as ways in which you find a way to not just monetize, but also like how has it been working with brands, doing stuff with platforms? How has that entire side of your world been?
So since the time Pranav has come in my life, वो side पूरी sort हो गई है. Initially, I used to think like, यार ये manager की क्या जरूरत है? This is when I was like 800 subscribers and all, and I used to handle my own stuff. जिसमें I used to get brands from mails and all that. Mail पे आता था brands and all that. I used to work with them खुद से, and होता था, मतलब they send a payment, मैंने ये कर दिया, 30-second integration हो गया, done. I never understood the concept of brand building, which first time when I spoke to Pranav, he spoke about brand building. तभी मैं ये phrase का meaning ही नहीं समझा. क्या है ये, क्या आप किसके में बात करें? फोटोशूट करने वाला है मेरा, कि मेरा न्यूज़पेपर में एड छपने वाला है? व्हाट इज ब्रांड बिल्डिंग? कुछ समझा नहीं. देन व्हेन आई बेसिक मेरा प्रॉब्लम एक है कि मैं नो नहीं बोल सकता किसी को. ओके, सो मैं प्रणव को ना नहीं बोल सकता. तभी फॉर मी प्रणव वाज लाइक अ मैनेजर. ओ माय गॉड डूड, मैनेजर आने वाला है, अपना चैनल को मैनेज करने है, इसको मैं ना कैसे बोलूं, मेरे को ये नहीं चाहिए. ऐसे बोल के मैंने उसको कभी ना बोला ही नहीं प्रणव को. एंड आई एम हैप्पी कि मैंने उसको ना नहीं बोला, because Pranav completely changed the game for me. He got stuff for me like Netflix and all that, which I really wanted, because that is like my power ना. मेरे को मिमिक्री करना पसंद है, ये सब जो भी ये सब चीजें मेरे को चाहिए थी. Pranav got all that for me. So he handles all my brand side work, everything, and then I don't have to think anything about that. And initially ऐसे लगता था कि कुछ मैनेजर की जरूरत नहीं है, सब मैनेज कर. Without Pranav I can't work. वैसा हो गया अभी situation. And the part of brand building is that everything related to PR से लेके सब चीजें ये लोग ये हैंडल हो जाता है. and all that is required. जो पहले when you are like a very new creator ना, ये सब चीजें नहीं, we don't think of such things. all that matters is चलो वीडियो बनाया, डाल दिया, कभी एक महीने में एक ब्रांड डील आ गया किसी मेल के थ्रू, उसको कर दिया, हो गया अपना काम, 30 सेकंड का पेमेंट ले लिया, ऐसे हो गया. अभी जाके समझता है कि there's so many things that you need to do if you want to really become like part क्या कैसे बोल रही है, if you want to really
build a business out of it,
build a business out of it, become a big brand.
Correct.
So that's the thing.
So, and as you've done that, you know what I find interesting is that there is a, and which is I agree with one thing you said at the start, saying you are not a gaming creator only, it's a vehicle you use to become, kind of scale up your own
these
form
days.
of creation.
I like making reels also these days.
Yeah.
And not just like reels जिसमें मैं नाचता वगैरह, मैं वो नहीं करता. I like making creative reels these days. So correct. Like give me this, I love the process of video content creation. मेरे को बहुत मजा आता है. I तो feel like I want to also be at the back of the camera.
Yeah.
I don't really want, I feel like more than even being in front of camera, I like also being behind the camera, doing those cinematic shots and all those things. मेरे को बहुत मजा आता है वो करने में.
तो ये एक interesting point है, because I think I want to ask you this one, is that most times when you start creating content, there's some things you know at least 50-50 how much to do, some things you're really good at. Like you, for instance, because of your daily walks, the mimicry and the entertaining part was sorted. Well, there's enough practice on that front. You also mentioned that you like to edit. What have you learned, or rather realized that you need to learn over this period of being a creator? What are the things you had to figure out, which you initially were like, okay, I don't know this, ye figure karna padega. So what were those things?
You mentioned the editing point. So mere case mein, I'll tell you why this growth happened fast. Because anyone who starts YouTube journey, they need to learn editing. Okay, मेरे केस में क्या होता था कि 8th standard 9th standard में मैंने ये सुपरमैन का उड़ने का वगैरह चीज किया था out of this only, कि मेरे को curiosity था कि what can I fly like Superman. ऐसे if you search on YouTube you'll get a tutorial for that and you learn that in After Effects. ये मैंने किया था तभी. So for me this basic cutting and editing जो अभी मैं करता हूँ, that is a very easy thing to do. So this editing worked out for me. तो that's the main reason, क्योंकि मैंने जब YouTube चालू किया था ना, it was like in 2018.
Yeah.
Even at that time नहीं करते थे लोग ज्यादा edit वगैरह. Gaming creators में ऐसा कोई नहीं था जो edited gaming videos डालता था. I feel I got that market.
करते थे.
हाँ, stream करते थे. I got that PUBG stream करते थे. So
correct.
मैंने maximum 2-3 बार PUBG खेला होगा तभी चैनल पे. When PUBG got banned, before that I've played only twice or thrice PUBG. So the PUBG ban also didn't affect me. But these मैं वो जो मार्केट गैप था कि हाईली एडिटेड गेमिंग वीडियोस कोई डालता नहीं है, मैंने वो डालना चालू किया एंड दैट वर्कड आउट फॉर मी. सो एक्चुअली आंसरिंग योर क्वेश्चन, मेरे को क्या सीखना पड़ा, आई डोंट थिंक कुछ आ रहा है मन में, क्योंकि ऐसे नहीं कि मेरे को सब कुछ सीखना नहीं
पड़ा. नो, जो ऑलरेडी आता है, you had to expand that, but the interesting part is you found a gap, and I think that's an important point, right? All creators need to find
a gap. Very important.
You might feel like, okay, there's so many YouTubers, there's so many creators, but there's always a gap somewhere. And if you actually pick that, and if you have the skills for that, then you can actually kind of scale up quickly as well.
तो मेरा ये मन कर रहा था कि PUBG खेलो, because everyone was playing PUBG when I started out.
Correct.
But for some reason I didn't play PUBG itna, because maybe it's, I'll tell you, it might be because also I used to see these big creators play PUBG. And I knew कि मैं इनके जितना बड़ा हो ही नहीं सकता. Maybe that is वो कॉन्फिडेंस उतना ही था तभी कि मैं इतने बड़ा हो ही नहीं सकता, तो मैं PUBG क्यों खेलूं. नहीं, और उससे अच्छा जो मेरे को आ रहा है मिमिक्री वगैरह, मैं आई थिंक इनिशियली मैंने यही वीडियोस बनाए हैं. मिमिक्री वाले. So my first video has been about GTA 5 में कोई तो मिमिक्री. उसके बाद one of the videos which went viral even before I hit 100k subscribers was what if Shahrukh Khan plays PUBG. So I did a Shahrukh Khan PUBG prank.
I saw that one.
Okay, so ऐसी सब चीजें मैं करता था थोड़ा different हमेशा.
Yeah.
And even now what I want to do with my YouTube content is try to do something different. So if you see now right now, so every video of mine will be random. Even I don't know what my channel is about at this point. मैं एक दिन ये डालूंगा, दूसरे दिन कोई तो घोस्ट प्रैंक डालूंगा, तीसरे दिन वापस गेम का वीडियो डालूंगा, चौथे दिन एक म्यूजिक वीडियो डालूंगा. मैंने वो भी किया है. सो कुछ भी चालो मेरे चैनल पे, बट आई फील दिस इज आउट ऑफ माई लाइक, मेरे को करना है, कुछ भी करना है ऐसे जो भी मन में आता है वो.
And while you're doing all of these, at some point, how do you translate that to a live stream? Because live streams, you do a bunch of those. So
I do sometimes.
How do you translate that kind of engagement onto a live stream?
Live stream के साथ कैसे होता है कि I don't do live stream every day ना. There are a lot of streamers who of course do every day live streams. तो मेरा कैसे होता है कि महीने में भी एक किया ना, तो फिर वो massive viewership आता है उस पे 50,000, 60,000, whatever that is. So that is what I prefer, क्योंकि मैं रोज तो live stream नहीं कर सकता. The thing is audience don't want to see you every day. That's actually the truth. Even if they say कि रोज वीडियो डालो, they will get bored. तो मैं ऐसे ट्राई करता हूँ कि जो भी क्वालिटी ओवर क्वांटिटी जो बोलते हैं, वैसे कि रोज तो नहीं करने का ये सेम चीज, कभी कभी करने का, मतलब वीडियोस भी डालता हूँ तो गैप छोड़ के डालता हूँ. एंड लाइव स्ट्रीम्स भी रोज नहीं कर सकता, महीने में एक लाइव स्ट्रीम कर दिया तो भी चल जाता है. इफ आई डू मोर लाइव स्ट्रीम्स फिर वो व्यूअरशिप भी कम होगी, और दे वांट टू, जो भी वो लाइव स्ट्रीम एक करूंगा ना वो इंटरेस्टिंग होनी चाहिए, जिसमें लाइक यू वेट, यू टॉक टू द ऑडियंस नाइसली and then you move on to the game while saying the bye bye also. अच्छे से बात करके जाओ.
Yeah, which is the one I saw your I think one of your recent live streams. And I was watching, I realized that एक tendency होता है ना when you and at least that's what I've always faced when I've done anything live, is that you worry that okay, from second one you need to hold people's attention. I've noticed that you go aram se. There is no rush to get into it from second one. You are like, no, wait karo. I've seen that happen, and I'm like, okay, that's an interesting one, because you're saying that you almost building up to saying abhi aayega, patience, versus saying okay, from second one if I don't hold your attention then it's a problem. So I found that very interesting.
No, that happens with like other streamers, because other streamers are वो streamers ना, या फिर मेरे भी जो बाकी के दोस्त है YouTube में, they are okay, like they take the streams in a very chilled way. आराम से करो, आराम से, because streams are supposed to be like that. ऑडियंस के पास टाइम होना चाहिए, तब जाके वो 1-2 घंटे के स्ट्रीम देखेंगे, तो ही they should come for the stream. मेरे केस में क्या होता है, like I'm always in a rush for some reason. Like I feel like even if I don't say anything for 1 second, 2 seconds, audience will cut off. तो मैं constantly देखता रहता हूँ कि व्यूज आ रहा है ना, व्यूज ये चीजें मैं देखता रहता हूँ, तभी वो, I don't think that is the way of streaming. But with my recent streams, I have tried consciously. I've tried because I should see कि मैं बहुत इस पे concentrate कर रहा हूँ कि chat में लोग क्या लिख रहे हैं, इस पे concentrate कर रहा हूँ कि okay, viewership कम नहीं हो रहा ना. But I should concentrate rather on having fun with the audience in the chat. I should rather concentrate on कि मैं game में मजा कर रहा हूँ, कि तब जाके audience को वो करने. तो पहले मैं बहुत ऐसे दूसरे monitor को दिखता था, chat दिख रहा है क्या. अभी what I'm trying to do is okay, let's just enjoy the game. Viewership जो भी है वो तो होता ही रहेगा, उसका क्या करें.
I have a bunch more questions to ask you, but I know we need to go for a break. So you can just do that. Me right back with Advertising is Dead. Welcome back to Advertising is Dead. We're still talking to Mythpat. I have to ask you something, and this is a question actually, which, because I have tried to understand YouTube more recently. And I have to ask every single person who has been able to really create and build an audience on YouTube, saying this conversation around the algorithm always comes up. There is this underlying, I feel that YouTube pe 1/4 videos are just people telling you about the YouTube algorithm.
That's true.
10 ways to hack your way to YouTube success se leke you get like how do you get
से आपको 1000 views आ जाएंगे.
Everything. That is 1/4 of YouTube. But how have you seen the algorithm? How do you look at analytics and all
so initially, I'm telling you, before 1000 subscribers ना, मैं ये वीडियोस ही देखता था, which you are saying right now, कि ये वीडियोस भरे हुए मैं यही देखता था YouTube पे before I hit 1000 subscribers or whatever. मैं अभी भी देखता हूँ ये वीडियोस YouTube पे. उससे क्या होता है कि वो जो मैं ट्रिक्स नहीं बोल सकता, जो मैं चीजें तभी करता था to get that first initial 1000 subscribers, जो fundamental चीजें होती है YouTube के बारे में, when you
Correct.
watch these videos ना, वो चीजें वापस रिफ्रेश हो जाती है. अदरवाइज समटाइम्स क्या होता है कि गो इतना इन द फ्लो कि ओके चलो सब्सक्राइबर्स आ रहे हैं एंड ऑल दैट, यू फॉरगेट द फंडामेंटल कि ओके ये सब चीजें इंपॉर्टेंट होती थी, राइट? थंबनेल्स, टैग्स, डिस्क्रिप्शंस, अभी थंबनेल में रेड एरो, व्हाटएवर दैट इज, ये सब चीजें पहले इंपॉर्टेंट होती थी. तो वो अभी व्हेन यू डोंट डू सच थिंग्स, यू नीड टू लाइक कीप रिफ्रेशिंग दैट नॉलेज. विद द यूट्यूब एल्गोरिथम I feel there's no secret formula. अभी तो lately I feel that only YouTube algorithm is kind of random. लोग ऐसे कुछ लोग बोलेंगे कि retention चाहिए for 50%, 60%, 70% retention. I don't know if that's true because I have had my most viral videos at 30% retention. I've had my most viral videos which are 5-minute videos and not 10-minute videos. I've had 10-minute videos also. But ऐसे क्योंकि वो वॉच टाइम का चीज है, everybody keeps talking कि वॉच टाइम चाहिए, वॉच टाइम चाहिए.
And अभी with YouTube Shorts, so people say more things about retention कि don't make shorts.
नहीं, अभी YouTube wants watch time also, and अभी shorts भी launch कर दिया. अभी समझ नहीं रहा कि 30 seconds का वीडियो बनाए, मतलब छोटा वीडियोस बनाए कि बड़ा बनाए. YouTube wants people to be there on their website for a long time, right? So वो चीजें बहुत है. ये है कि I feel the basics like your thumbnail has to be good. Your description, your title has to be catchy. ये सब चीजें important होती है for a video to go, and of course the content also. But I तो feel like thumbnail is very important and title. तो I have had a recent video मैंने किया था जिसमें मैंने मेरा video was normal अंदर से, okay, video was normal अंदर से, पर मैंने thumbnail में एकदम perfect Photoshop करके मेरे को आधा टकलू दिखाया था जिसमें आधे बाल थे और
I have a new hairstyle वाला ना.
Yeah. Varun has done his research. So उसमें
no, I was scrolling through your YouTube channel, all honesty, before this recording, and you are right, that thumbnail stands out. You're like,
it looks real, huh? It looks real.
Looks so real.
I'm not saying उसके अंदर का content is worth 7 million views. नहीं है, but आया उसपे 7 million views because वो thumbnail. So वो समझते नहीं कभी, but honestly कभी-कभी you can put the most amazing thumbnail, but फिर views नहीं होंगे. तो वो समझता नहीं कि YouTube algorithm exactly क्या है.
So what makes a good thumbnail then? Because I've realized that for you, your expression is a certain way in all your thumbnails. But what for you has actually been?
Thumbnails have to be clear. Okay, so thumbnail में audience doesn't have to think ज़्यादा click करने से पहले. You can't put like multiple elements in the thumbnail एक ही time पे to make it like that. वो thumbnail समझता नहीं कि क्या exactly है. So for example, if my video is about a Lamborghini in any game, so it will just have my face on the side and the Lamborghini has to be clearly on the left side. I don't have to show the person on the left also with a Lamborghini. फिर title में वापस, फिर thumbnail में वापस text में Lamborghini लिखा है, फिर उधर से Lamborghini का लोगो भी है. ये सब चीजें नहीं चाहिए, समझ जाता है मेरा एक चेहरा और Lamborghini. Clear thumbnail so that the audience clicks it. Done. That's how thumbnail should be.
And this is another thing, right? And this is, I find the most interesting part is we just spoke about how it's random. 1 week ago, I was talking to a creator and he was telling me, do not put YouTube shorts on your channel because it'll take away the amount of time people are watching. And then one day later, I watch a video which says that YouTube now has at the back end algorithm sort kiya hai ki YouTube shorts ka algorithm is separate. This separate doesn't matter if they're on the same channel.
Who knows this algorithm?
This was on Colin. I think Colin and Samir were talking to MKBHD. So they're like, no, YouTube at the back end has done this. So I'm like, that's the problem. I think is that now you have so much information ki everybody has a theory.
I don't know. Like no. Even I don't think that's public knowledge actually. Ki YouTube has done this thing. Don't know because YouTube has never spoken about their algorithm at all. That's like the अगर algorithm के बारे में समझ गया ना, वो नहीं मालूम. But algorithm के बारे में if we talk, मतलब if algorithm के बारे में समझ गया तो full YouTube ही sort है. So I had done a podcast with Ranveer, Beer Biceps. I had done this podcast in which he told me a very interesting thing that I don't know if it was about YouTube or Google, or I think it was either about YouTube or Google only. Like she got to know this from somewhere that the algorithm of YouTube or either Google has become so strong at this point कि वो automatically grow होते जा रहा है. समझ रहे हो? At a point where not even the people, like the team who has designed the algorithm knows कि अभी क्या होने वाला है इसका. It's just
AI is running
automatically
it.
growing. That's scary also.
It's very scary if you think about it. I want to take a bit of a different direction on this, right? Is that as you've done all of this, you've done stuff on Netflix. You also work with Spotify on your podcast. But you also work with brands in general. Have you seen that? Have you seen that you working with brands has become easier as time has gone by? Because initially it would have been also like, your kind of content was something that sometimes you have to explain, no, this is how I make it.
So initially when I was
that?
with Pranav, that time it took time. And Pranav was also telling me this only kids. And I think I was one of the first gaming creators Pranav had. Yeah. I think, I'm the first gaming. I should tell this to Pranav. Pranav, मैं तेरा first gaming creator हूँ. So मैंने वही बोला कि प्रणव को डिफिकल्ट हो रहा था वो चीज पिच करने को ब्रांड्स को कि there's this gaming creator called Mythpat, उसका ये है, उसको massive viewership आता है. So I used to get massive viewership at that time. Even I get now also, but तभी के टाइम पे compared to like, because gaming is a field जहाँ पे मिलता है views, because it's also young audience, बहुत आता है उधर. So it was difficult for him to pitch to the brands कि आपको views अच्छे आएंगे, तो you should invest in this gaming creator and all that. It took almost like 4 or 5 months for Pranav to convince the first brand, and after that things started. फिर तो fast, and then I feel like the whole boom came for gaming. Now everybody wants to invest into gaming क्योंकि सबको समझ गया कि ये इंडस्ट्री यहाँ पे सबसे ज्यादा ये है, व्यूज है, सब कुछ है. So अभी तो I think it's easy to for the brand to work with brands and all that. But I feel like I'm happy like we went through this challenge of Netflix and all that क्योंकि that is something I wanted, and even Netflix got convinced to work with me. तो उसके बाद तो I've been enjoying making videos with them a lot.
Yeah, because also it suddenly makes it, because I think that's the intersection, right? If when I look at it, there was entertainment, then there was gaming, and there was sport, and somewhere all of them have kind of come together, because at some point gaming is also now considered a sport, but also it's a way to entertain.
Esports is different, and I feel what I do is
all
very,
like now combined together is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I feel what I do is different. Of course, it's different compared 100%. To esports. I think when we used to at that phase, तो ऐसा तो होता था कि कॉमेडी का जॉनर, एंटरटेनमेंट कॉमेडी एक है जॉनर, व्लॉग्स का एक है, एंड फिर वो गेमिंग का. गेमिंग should not get that much attention. And now I feel gaming is सबसे बड़ी चीज है. And 100%. Gaming में भी दो चीजें हैं, esports है और the type of content I make. And this is not just here, even abroad वो same चीज है. There's a group of esports streamers who are like completely pro in their game, and they stream not only on YouTube but also on platforms like Twitch. They stream there, and there's this other form of creators like me who take any game in just a way to entertain audience. Yeah,
it's your vehicle to entertain.
Yeah.
You also did something recently, which was with Facebook gaming, right? You've never used cricket as a way
to do this. It was fun. So, actually, it was fun. वो देखा तो खेला तभी बहुत मजा आया.
And I heard that you one round you were amazing, and then another one.
I was the best player of the. क्या बोलते हैं? Man of the
series.
Man of the series. I was the man of the series. I can say that. I'm not. I don't know. मेरे और Nick के बीच में मैंने comparison नहीं किया, but like I was playing really well.
But Nick takes cricket very seriously. बोलोगे तो फिर.
But the thing is, वो mobile game था ना. So I think Nick also scored really well. उसने 46 runs या कुछ तो किया था. मेरा highest 30 गया था एक मैच पे. But even the commentators जो थे उस टाइम पे, the hosts, they were also impressed by my gameplay. I don't know. ये first time मैं ये game खेल रहा था. फिर भी मजा आया.
So how did you become man of the series then? Practice किया?
नहीं, I started playing उसी दिन जब वो था ना, 15 minutes before the stream I started playing, and I don't know, वो हो रहा था हर बॉल 6-4 जा ही रहा था. It's all about the timing. I was telling you. Then I even taught सुहानी कि सुहानी देख timing के बारे में सब कुछ. Don't take stress.
No, I was talking to the guys at under 25 when they were even like connecting us for this one, right? And they were telling me कि you kind of came in, and this is a game you had not played, and you were just like at it, like like suddenly like this.
Even I don't know how.
And but were you also looking at it as saying, "Oh, fine, this is fun to do. Let me entertain, but also let me make sure I win this game." You suddenly went to the other side of.
I wanted to win.
You're to the other side.
It was fun, but I wanted to win.
So, I want to ask you a question which I try to ask every creator comes on the podcast, right? Which is that if I am a young creator today who's starting off, or like I'm a creator who's just starting off right now, what should I keep in mind? What should I keep in mind in terms of just how I create content, how I put it out there? What should I do? And most importantly, what I shouldn't do in my own head, maybe?
So, a lot of young audience follows me. So like we get messages like 13 साल के बच्चे होते हैं जो बोलते हैं कि हमने चैनल चालू कर दिया अभी YouTube चैनल, तो इसको शाउट आउट दे दो. Which of course वो मैं शाउट आउट नहीं दे सकता. But the thing is, they want to grow on YouTube at the age of 13, 14, 15. So सबको मैं यही एक चीज बोलता रहता हूँ कि that's not the age for you to do YouTube, honestly. At that age, when I was 13, 14, 15, whatever, I started with exploring this side कि okay चलो मैं editing सीख सकता हूँ, क्या होता है सुपरमैन जैसे. तुम लोग भी वही try करो, अभी वो सब चीजें सीखो. When that age will come, I started YouTube at age of 21. When you become even 18 for that matter, abhi there are good creators like Ujjwal, Techno Gamers, who's 18 and YouTube pe what he has 20 million subs on YouTube now. Which so I feel I wouldn't say कि 21 तक रुको, finish your education. 12 standard के बाद करो कुछ तो, उसके बाद you can start your channel. उसके during also you can start your channel. Finish your education and all that, and then you can explore YouTube. That is like the advice. One advice I want to give every kid listening, जिसको भी ऐसे कि YouTube करना है. And the second is make everything with passion. Like that is what I have been following. कि any video you make has to be better than your previous video. This is like the golden advice I give on every podcast, on every motivational video, and which I don't want people to follow. नहीं तो सब मेरे आगे चले जाएंगे. But this is like the secret formula that I've been using. कि every video you make has to be better than your previous video.
Yeah, that is so true. Because and I think that's the thing, right? What you said about the age is so important, because at most times I think there's a fear ki if I don't start today, what if I miss out? And my response is I became a creator like what I'm going to be 40 next year.
Oh, you don't look 40 at all, right?
I'm 39. I'll be 40 next year.
You look 34, 35. Yeah,
very good. It's the hair. But yeah, I became a creator 3 years ago. So I'm like, I started off at what 36 being a creator. Till then I was running a business, doing everything else. So I'm like, it's never too late. There's a good time for something.
Yeah,
but I agree with you 100%.
That's a good advice for me also, because I'm 23 right now and I'm like rushing. मेरे को ऐसा लगता रहता है कि मेरे पास बस 3, 4, 5 साल है, जो करना है वो अभी करना है. चलो जल्दी करते रहना.
मेरे 20s when there was no YouTube only, so
like, so we need to like slow down on life a little bit.
Yeah, there is no rush, because you know, I think is don't not create content is what I've realized. Do stuff, keep making stuff. For me, I was behind the camera because I used to like I started off at Channel V, MTV to create shows and all that stuff over there. So I was a behind the cameras person. So I knew that, and suddenly one day got into this. But what I tell everybody, and that's why I was happy that you said that, is because you have like 14, 15-year-olds who should be creating content if they want to, but you don't have to only do one thing. I mean, you can study and do this. Time pass thoda kam ho jayega, but I think that's a choice you can kind of take for yourself.
Yeah.
Towards the later part of every episode, I ask my guests a set of questions. Ye question standard. I ask everybody the same question.
Yes.
Apart from being a creator, entertainer, everything else, what do you spend time doing beyond this? What are you passionate about? What do you do when you're not doing this?
I don't know. The first answer that comes in my mind is just like chilling, watching TV series. यही सब चीजें करता हूँ मैं. Other than this, but what I like doing this one. I like, you know, here and there I like making small. Okay, I like making stuff. So I had made one recently. I had made one Iron Man का hand. ऐसी चीजें. Recently I made a robot which bangs his own chest. There's this meme going on the internet. तो ये सब चीजें ऐसी मेरे को स्पेयर टाइम में ये सब चीजें के बारे में सोचना और ये सब चीजें करना बहुत पसंद है. Other than that, I don't feel I have any other life than YouTube, because you know I'm the only one who's handling all this this huge 10 million channel. तो my entire time goes in this only. तो इसके अलावा मैं कुछ नहीं करता. ऐसे नहीं बोल रहा कि मैं फुल डे काम करता रहता हूँ, वो तो है ही नहीं ट्रू. बट जब भी जो भी करता नहीं तो अदरवाइज आई स्लीप. दैट्स द ट्रुथ. If I don't do this, I sleep for 10 hours, 9 hours, 8 hours, whatever. 8 hours. So I don't even remember last time I slept for 8 hours. I sleep every day for 10 to 11 hours.
I don't remember last time I slept for 8 hours because I never sleep more than 6-7 hours. I have the ulta problem. My dog wakes me up at 5 a.m. every morning. So मेरा problem थोड़ा उल्टा है. What do people not there's obviously this perception of a YouTuber, of a creator. What do people not know about what is a large part of your life?
Large part of my life.
As a creator.
What people don't know, I feel. I feel. ये actually मैंने कभी बोला नहीं है कभी. But it's just I am kind of like a self-conscious guy. Okay, so like in my videos you will see like okay चलो सब dialogues एकदम perfect है, सब चीजें एकदम perfect है. But on the back end I have to like before even shooting my videos and all that, ऐसे नहीं होता कि I immediately start. मेरे इंट्रोज में 1-2 बार रिकॉर्ड करूंगा. मेरे बाल में बहुत बार आई एम टॉकिंग 20-25 मिनट्स आई टेक टू जस्ट सेट माय हेयर एंड ऑल दैट. वंस आई सेट इन देन आई कैन स्टार्ट. देन कभी कुछ डायलॉग मैंने कभी कुछ नहीं, बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि मैं कुछ तो फंबल करता हूँ, ये सब चीजें करता हूँ, तो वो सब एडिट आउट हो जाती है. ये सब चीजें ऑडियंस देखती नहीं है चीजें. एंड आई फील it's not easy to do YouTube. There's lot of pressure, there's lot of creative pressure, lot of brand pressure. ये सब चीजें is something like audience doesn't know about, and we don't really talk about all these things.
Yeah,
that's there.
You mentioned that when you're taking time off from being creator, you like to watch a lot of stuff. Anything you saw recently that you would recommend?
The latest show that I finished was $1 Billion Code on Netflix. So हाँ, तो अगर मैं YouTuber नहीं हूँ,
I wanted to see that show.
So अगर मैं YouTuber नहीं होता तो मैं definitely programming में होता, because I still love program. I've not done it since 3-4 years, but I have a feeling कि मैं YouTuber नहीं, mimicry artist नहीं, dubbing नहीं, तो मैं एक programmer होता. क्योंकि जब मैं वो करता था ना, when I should do all this GRE exam का तैयारी and all that, I'd even done an internship somewhere, programming related internship, and I was even going for masters in computer science only. तो मेरे को ये सब करने में मजा आता था. So खुद से मैं रात को 7-8 घंटे बैठ के वो एक कोड का प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करता था पीसी पे. कि एक दिन मैंने ऐसे एक प्रोग्राम लिख दिया था कि वो माउस का कर्सर जो होता है, व्हाट इफ इट मूव्स ऑटोमेटिकली एंड क्लोजेस द स्क्रीन. मतलब स्क्रीन के राइट में क्रॉस होता है. सो आई डोंट वांट टू टच माय कीबोर्ड. व्हाट इफ दिस ऑटोमेटिकली गोज टू राइट. ये सब चीजें मैं रात को 8-8 घंटे बैठ के मैंने ये सब कुछ प्रोग्राम किया था खुद के लिए. So that is also one of my passions. So I loved watching this show called $1 Billion Code. It's all about like coding, Google Earth and all these things. बहुत interesting show. I think the next show I'll watch is have you watched Suits?
Yeah.
So इसमें पूरा वो कोड का बैटल है $1 Billion Code में. बहुत मजा है वो देखने में. तो मैं सोच रहा हूँ Suits देखूँ next.
Go back. No, Suits is a lot of fun. If you like Suits, you should also watch Billions. That's equally fun.
Oh, okay.
Billions.
I love such shows. जो ये है, ये हो गया. फिर एक Silicon Valley करके शो था. Loved that show. ये हो गया. Then I recently watched Squid Games also. ये सब मतलब Squid Games तो सबने देखा है, but हाँ अभी मुझे
Squid Game का तो अलग ही प्रॉब्लम है. Mr. Beast has made Squid Game का पूरा सेट बना रहा है. Mr. Beast, I'm like,
I want to watch Money Heist because that is something. 4-5 सीजन है, सबने देखा है, but मैंने नहीं देखा है.
What I want to ask you at the end is that what do you think your content is going to be like in a year down the line? Is it going to evolve? Is it going to change? Which parts will die and which parts will kind of come up?
I think post 10 million subscribers, this is what I've told myself, and I'm trying to follow that. कि 10 billion subscribers हो गया, I won't like run towards getting subscribers. Subscribe करो guys, subscribe करो. I want to make content that India has not seen. India के content creators are very like limited content बनाते हैं. Like, अगर streamers वही game stream कर रहे हैं, gaming में वही games चल रहे हैं, comedy में जो भी चालू है, ऐसे नहीं हो रहा कि बाहर से इंस्पायर. आई एम अग्रीइंग टू दैट. बाहर से इंस्पायर होकर ऐसे बहुत सारे आइडियाज है, क्रेजी चीजें हैं जो बाहर होती रहती है, जो मैं देखता हूँ और मुझे बहुत मन करता है कि मैं इंडिया में वैसी चीजें करूँ, या फिर खुद से भी जो क्रेजी आइडियाज आते हैं. सो आई डन आइडिया ऑफ मेकिंग अ पार्ले जी रोबोट. बहुत मजा आता है वो करने में. तो वैसी चीजें मुझे करते रहना है, बिकॉज दोज आइडियाज आर वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू मेक. बट नाउ दैट आई एम एट 10 million subscribers, I'm not going to worry about subscriber base. I have a big subscriber base. Now I'm going to concentrate on the content. So I've already started pushing out videos. Like now my next video, which is going to go after 2 days, is making a robot जो अपनी chest को मारता रहता है. Who has made this in India? So such ideas which जो मन में आ रहा है बना दिया. वैसे ideas करने मुझे अभी आगे.
Perfect. I couldn't be more excited to see what all you come up with. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been super fun. And I'm going to keep picking your brain because I've just hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I will now going to pick your brain in trying to figure this out. But thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having. Actually, I was interested to come on this podcast for one reason. Like मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मेरे पास मुझे बहुत सारी चीजें शेयर करनी है. ऐसे लगता है कि मैंने YouTube के मैं बहुत ऑब्सेस था YouTube के साथ विद दिस एनालिटिक पार्ट एंड ऑल दैट स्टैट्स एंड ऑल दैट. मैं यही सब पढ़ता रहता था. तो मेरा ऐसा था कि मेरे को बहुत सारी चीजें जो मैं शेयर कर सकता हूँ, एंड दिस पॉडकास्ट इज लाइक द परफेक्ट प्लेस टू शेयर ऑल दैट. एंड आई हैव नॉट लाइक सिंस द टाइम आई हैव माय ओन पॉडकास्ट, मैं खुद ऐसा गेस्ट बन के पॉडकास्ट पे गाया नहीं हूँ. तो मैं बहुत एक्साइटेड था कि मेरे को करना है ये चीज.
I actually ask you this as well, and how has it been hosting a podcast beyond the fact that you've been showing your own self? How is do you find podcasting be different from what you've been doing on YouTube?
It has been like for on YouTube, जब भी मैं वीडियोस अगर रिकॉर्ड करता हूँ, I have to like ensure कि मेरे बाल बराबर है ना, ये बराबर है ना वो. In case of podcast, I can be completely myself. That one thing. But मेरे बस अभी 10 episodes आए अब तक. So I'm still learning that. Now recently I realized one thing which I've अभी last 2 podcasts से मैंने वो कम किया करना, that I don't allow the guest to talk only. I keep interrupting the guest. So since last 2 podcasts, what I've been trying to do is मैं उनको बात करने को देता हूँ कि तुम लोग बात करो. So ये सब चीजें like even I'm in like the learning process of podcasting, but it's fun.
So I was, and that's an interesting point. I actually was talking to Amit Verma sometime back, and he was telling me that he hates it when someone interrupts. But I'm like, I keep waiting. For me, it's like I'm trying to figure out okay, my guest is saying something. There'll come a point. Okay, ye point is interesting. Let me catch that and ask a question. That is generally my process, and that's what I find the most fun. But yeah, podcasting is a lot of fun. It frees you from everything else.
Yeah,
like you said, Balin thinking about that, you can do whatever you're doing. You're just recording the audio.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man. Thanks for coming on the podcast. It's been awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
IVM